Welcome back to the Turn Up Show with T-Mate and friends. We ain't sideways at all. We are in the building. And the reason why we ain't sideways because this is the Money Show and we talking about financial freedom today. And I'm just so honored to have on the line with us right now. I'm just going to start off by saying he is a Louisville native.
Yes, sir.
502 Come Up representer.
Yes, sir.
And he will be here Saturday, March 12th with his 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. And what we call him the People Scholar. So welcome to the line, one of my mentors, one of the men that I follow, one of the men that I really, really look up to. And I'm so glad to have on the show Dr.Boyce Watkins in the building.
What a privilege.
Turn up. Dr. Boyce, how you doing? Dr. Boyce.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, doing good. How you doing, Dr. Boyce?
I'm doing great. I'm always happy when I come home.
Okay, man, and we are happy to have you here.
I love WLOU.
Wow. Okay, we are happy to have you back home. So let's get straight into it, Dr. Boyce. I'm just so honored to have you on the phone. Like I was telling you earlier when I was talking to you on the phone, you are actually on my wish list of guests for this year. So we are just truly blessed to have you here. Truly blessed to have you here. So tell us how you actually got into financial freedom. Like, how did you start your road and your pathway to talking about finances and being financial freedom? How did that all get started?
Well, when I went to University of Kentucky, actually back in 1989, which is a long time ago, right?
You telling your age?
Yeah, man. I studied finance, and I studied finance because I didn't have any money. I had a baby on the way, and I figured that if I studied money and learned about money, somebody would pay me money to talk about money. So, so I did my 4-year degree at UK, and then after that, I decided to go get a PhD. And throughout that journey, you just experience life. You experience racism. You kind of see how America works.
Okay,
so that really shaped my path. I really felt like Black people need to hear the information. So I said, okay, how do I create a career where I can teach Black people? And I thought that maybe teaching at an HBCU would be the route. And that just really was a little bit tougher, HBCUs,
Really?
HBCUs got their hurdles. They're a little bureaucratic sometimes, and it slows down progress. So I just decided to use the internet, which was a great opportunity to reach Black people all around the world, man. And the rest is history, my brother.
Wow.
That's great. Now, one thing I always ask this of any guest that we have that's as financially literate as you are. Now, if you had to give us as a people, Black people, one piece of financial advice, what would be the biggest piece of advice that you would give us?
Stop giving all your money away to white people. No disrespect to white people.
Yeah.
Okay.
But really, you got to support your own businesses, man. Like where you spend your money shapes the strength of your community.
Right.
Every black child in America needs to be taught the fundamentals of community economic empowerment. You buy Black whenever possible, number one.
Okay.
Number two, you save and invest. You got to build wealth. In fact, every Black child, especially boys, every Black boy needs to learn how to be an entrepreneur before he learns how to dance, before he learns how to sing, before he learns how to play basketball.
Yes.
That needs to be part of our fundamental curriculum and rites of passage for us to survive as a people.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Why do you think we drop the ball on that so much? Why do you think we don't focus on that as a community?
Because brainwashing is deep. I mean, you've had 400 years where you've been taught to think like a slave.
Right.
And before we thought, 250 years we were thinking like slaves. Now we think like former slaves.
Right.
And unfortunately, we have a huge amount of codependence upon our oppressors to give us the things that we need, which makes us incredibly vulnerable. So really, it's going to just take a revolution of thinking. We have to be committed to making sure the next generation has the slate wiped clean in terms of their mentality. It's going to take a lot of work.
Wow. Okay.
So Dr. Boyce, my question would be, why is it so hard to save? I mean, because of course, you have your bills. And you try to at least try to pinch a little bit to save back and put back. What is the discipline in that?
Well, what's funny is that a lot of the people that say they don't have the discipline to save, they do find the discipline to tithe, or they may find the discipline to do what we want to do, right? If we want to go to Applebee's, we want to go see the new Kevin Hart movie, we want to go to the club, we want to buy a pair of Jordans, whatever it is we want to do, we find the money to do what we want to do. And I think that because saving is not really part of our household culture growing up, it carries over into adulthood. So what I tell people is that if you really want to save, you have a hard time doing it like I did, have some money automatically deducted from your account. You know, it could be as little as $25 a week or something like that, and have that money get transferred into another account where you can't touch it, and then eventually buy your first share of stock. That's the pathway to saving and build a little bit of wealth.
Wow.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You know, Dr. Watkins, as a single mom, teen mom and dad, I have instantly began teaching the responsibility of finances with the children. And, you know, there for the grace of God, it's been good, but it can always get better. But when we look around and we see that we as a culture will wear our wealth, we drink our wealth, we have to show it. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? When you got a mama that's got red bottoms, but she's, $15 rent, when we can stand in line for the Jordans, but, how do we break this cycle? Because we are a very impressionable race. Mm-hmm. Thus, they were, we gotta have. Mm-hmm. So when we got media and even our own rap artists that wear, and our children go and steal and hustle to be like them, how do we start it?
Well, first of all, we got to realize everybody ain't going to get it. Everybody, it's always going to be somebody wearing the red bottoms or spending their last to buy $250 Jordans when they cost $12 to make. And it's making Michael Jordan rich. He loves it. He said, because that's the thing. Capitalism preys on people that don't work to enlighten themselves. Even if you look at whether it's food or anything else, they sell the most poisonous fast food to the people who are least interested in what's in the food, right?
Yes.
If you're never educated about what's in the food, then you're going to eat it because it tastes good, but they can put battery acid in that cheeseburger, and if it tastes good, you're going to eat it, right?
Wow.
So that level of consciousness is not... It does not exist amongst everybody. I think it's important that we share that consciousness with those who care, who want to evolve, but also realize some people just are not going to get it, Right. And so when it comes to spending, I think that our self-esteem as a people plays a part. They take advantage of us. They know that we still feel like we're 3/5 of a person. So sometimes we feel that by buying that European brand and wearing that Gucci, that Prada, that whatever it is that we think is important, that makes us a better person, when really you were somebody even before you had all of that. And I think that's where self-esteem really comes into play.
Right. Well, speaking about being somebody before you were somebody, I know that you are real good friends with a rap mogul by the name of Damon Dash, and I follow you all's YouTube channel a lot. Now, is Damon Dash one of the smartest people that you know? Because you really talk to him a lot, especially about financial and entrepreneurship. So give me your take on Damon Dash and you all's relationship.
Hey, you know what? I didn't know when Damon and I first started working together, I really didn't expect us to become friends. I don't like really becoming friends with celebrities because they're so busy and some of them are so shallow.
Right. You lying.
I didn't know what we have in common, but it turns out we have a lot in common. First of all, Damon, as you mentioned, he's a brilliant guy. I mean, without Damon, there would be no Jay-Z.
No doubt.
There would be no Kanye West.
No doubt.
And I found out later that Lee Daniels and Kevin Hart got a big part of their big break off of projects they worked on with Dame. So Dame is a guy that when I talk to him, I feel like I'm talking to somebody who's as smart as any professor I've ever met. He instantly understands ideas. He's constantly learning, and also he's evolving and growing as a man. And what we love is that we're the same age, so we kind of get we have this OG status with the young people who sign up for our Intelligent Boss Moves class.
Right.
Because unfortunately, a lot of our kids struggle because they don't have that father figure.
Right.
So we're able to kind of tell them, like, we know what you're seeing in media, but that's not what manhood really looks like. You tell that to a young guy, like, no, manhood is over here. It's not over there. You tell that to a young lady, no, this is the kind of man you want, who take care of his kids, who will spend his last, who will give everything he's got to provide for the people he loves. You don't want the thug who's going to go around making babies left and right and think it's no big deal. So we really love that. We get to not just be business coaches for people, but we actually get to be almost like father figures, man.
Yeah.
And we both love being dads. It's wonderful.
Wow. Okay, now let's move over to politics a little bit, okay? Because I know you really heavy into politics too. So I don't know if you've been following the national news, but lately Louisville was in the spotlight because Trump was here at a rally, and a young student was here, and she was pushed by one of the Trump supporters. Are you familiar with that story?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay, so how did you feel about that going on, and what is your opinion on what's going on with this election and how it's actually polarizing a certain sector of America?
I've seen one survey after another since really 2006 or 7 when the internet and social media got really big, where basically the surveys will say consistently that America is more divided than it was during the Civil War. And if you recall, the Civil War was when hundreds of thousands of Americans killed each other, and it wasn't that long ago. We have better guns now, and more guns, know, and so people have to realize that, that can happen again. And I think that the rise of Donald Trump is really a reflection of this anger, of this division, of people being tired of the same old business and politics. Our politicians are incredibly ineffective. So I know black people who are voting for Trump because they say, look, these politicians aren't doing anything. So I'd rather vote for the guy who tells it like he sees it, even if he's wrong. I think also people have grown an intolerance or a fatigue of political correctness. So for example, on issues like illegal immigration, right? There's an idea that you want to be sympathetic to what people go through in this country, illegally or not. But then some people don't really understand, especially black folks I know, they don't understand. Like in Chicago, if you're black, you can't get a construction job anywhere because all the jobs are taken by other people. And so your heart goes out to those people, but you're like, wait a minute, I'm an American citizen. I can't even get a construction job because you're hiring all these people that you're bringing in from Mexico illegally. So I think that just having those honest conversations is one of the things that I think makes people listen to Trump. But make no mistake about it, Trump he's a magnet for angry, ignorant, racist white people. And the white male anger is real, and what you're seeing now with these fights at the rallies and all this stuff, I think it's only going to get worse, and we should be concerned about it.
Wow. Well, have you chosen a candidate yet that you're getting behind and supporting?
Nope.
Yeah, because
I'm not supporting none of these fools. I'm gonna go in the booth and I'm gonna write Mickey Mouse in, or I'm gonna vote for Marcus Garvey for president. I'm not gonna support any Democratic candidate until they give me something that I think is really going to be beneficial to my community. I personally, and I don't tell everybody else to do what I do, but I personally believe that you're a worse option. Give me a good option, not the least worst option. So that's just my personal point of view.
Wow, Dr. Watkins, turn up. Okay.
Hey, Dr. Watkins, this is Mariko Turner. I've been doing a lot of research on you, sir, and I did not know that you were from Louisville. And what's so funny is that you accepted me on Facebook, and I've just been watching you consistently on Facebook, and you and I both live in the same city. And we're both from here, and we're on the same mission. I need to link up with you because I have some gentlemen who have the same views as you do, and I think you might be impressed with what we're looking to do. And I have the same view as you do. Listen, I just told someone the other day, I don't even know if I'm going to vote. That's how I'm scared for my children. I'm scared for my grandchildren that are not even thought about. And that's how serious this thing is. So I applaud you on what you're doing. And listen, we got to get behind this movement with this gentleman. I've been watching you and Dame Dash. I've known Dame for years, and to see him now where his mind is going, and to link up with someone like yourself is nothing less than superlative.
Phenomenal.
Right. Well, I mean,
I'll tell you, we're in a new day and age, and what I encourage you to do, brother, is go read a book, an article by W.E.B. Du Bois called, I think it's called "Why I Will Not Vote."
Why I will not vote.
And I'm not saying that I'm not saying you should buy into it, but I think that we should look at all points of view, all possibilities, and not let the Democrats kind of fool you into saying like, well, we're not going to help you, but you need to vote for us because we'll protect you from the Republicans who want to do these horrible things to you. I just don't like that set of options. It's not productive at all.
Okay, so Dr. Boyce Watkins, I have a question for you that I like to ask everyone that comes on the show. It's so simple. It's so simple. And this is Audrey D speaking, okay? So my question is, what book are you currently reading?
Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson.
I got to write that down.
Okay.
Black Labor, White Wealth. Best book. I mean, it'll knock your socks off. It'll help you understand how America operates now and why slavery influences so many things that we do in this country, the wealth imbalance, all these things. It'll help you kind of fill in the gaps from all the things they were afraid to teach you during high school.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Well, we definitely going to read that book. So listen, and wrapping up, this Saturday at 5:30 p.m. at the Kentucky Center for African American Heritage, you will be given your 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power. So let the people know what to expect on Saturday.
You know what? My grandmother, who who was such a Louisville Cardinals fan that she asked to be buried in a red dress.
Wow, look her up.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I love that.
This is straight Louisville right now, you know. And so my grandmother was actually the person who got me started thinking about investing in compound interest. Instead of buying me toys when I was a kid, she used to buy me savings bonds.
Wow.
And it helped me understand. Like, I didn't understand how you could buy something for $25 and it would be worth $50 in 7 years or whatever.
Wow.
So that was my first introduction to compound interest. So 30 years later, when I was a professor of finance, I would talk to my grandmother about very basic ideas when it came to money. And what I did was I was able to merge that with more advanced theories that I learned, you know, getting my PhD, and form kind of a unified framework for helping, you know, hopefully what I hope to be millions and millions of black people to just understand the basics of what you want to do to be economically empowered. So this is dedicated to my grandma who grew up right there in the West End, and I'm talking about we grew up listening to WLOU every day, you know, just all of that, man. Yeah, so this is real next to my heart right now, right next to it.
Well, Dr. Boyce, we like to thank you for being on the show, and we cannot wait to see you Saturday as you talk about financial freedom and you talk about your position on politics, and you just give us all the wisdom and information we need. Thank you so much for being on the Big Turn Up Show, and man, we will continue to support you in everything you do. Everybody give it up for Dr. Boyce Watkins. Thank you, brother. We love you, man. Love you.
Thank you. I love you guys too.
Thank you.
All right.
Stay on the line if you don't. Stay on the line, doctor, if you don't mind, real quick.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Okay.